I grew up along the water, watching periwinkles swaying on the grasses by the creek out in the sun. And just today down by the docks, I watched those otters diving off and felt the power in the journey we've begun. But we're not done. There's still work for everyone, and there's a shimmer on the water like a dream. And I know dreams can come alive, so as we help our river thrive, we'll find there's much more magic yet to see. You and I, reflections in the water.
Welcome to the Elizabeth River Project's 4th Annual Youth Resilience Expo.
I'm Janet Goldbach-Amer.
Hi, I'm Sarah McBride.
And we're here today to celebrate you!
We are so proud of all the hard work from students this year to help protect our environment and improve the health and restoration of the Elizabeth River. We also need to give a big thank you to the teachers, families, and parents for helping students along the way as you completed your projects.
Today's expo will be about 30 minutes long. We will recognize the students' projects and celebrate all of your hard work and accomplishments to address our local environmental challenges. Every project will receive a special superlative award. There will also be door prize giveaways at the end. This year, we are recognizing 22 schools and 1,200 students from Chesapeake, Portsmouth, and Norfolk.
This event is part of a prestigious award given to the Elizabeth River Project in 2019 from the Barbara Upton Wilson Fund of the Hampton Roads Community Foundation. This 3-year grant supports leading a regional youth resilience collaboration in the Elizabeth River watershed. Students learn how to take effective action and make decisions regarding sea level resilience for the Hampton Roads community with a sense of hope and empowerment. This event is also supported by the Chesapeake Bay Watershed Education and Training Grant to the Elizabeth River Project in 2019 from NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The 3-year BWET grant supports meaningful watershed education experiences for Chesapeake students and teachers as they learn innovative ways to teach about the Chesapeake Bay's iconic blue crabs.
Additional support was provided by grants from the Chesapeake Bay Trust, the Chesapeake Bay Restoration Fund, Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation, Ask HR Green, Amazon Kindness Grant, Cox Communications, Elizabeth River Crossings, and Elizabeth River Project.
Thanks to your hard work and the support of our funders, since 2019 we have received 55 Resilient River Star schools and almost 4,000 Resilient River Star students. Now, please enjoy a few words of inspiration and thanks from our guest speaker.
Good morning, everyone. It's truly an honor for me to be a part of your special day here at the Youth Resilience Expo. My name is Elise Trelligan. I work for the NOAA Chesapeake Bay office, and I oversee our BWET grants program. And your school actually has funding from the program that I organized to create opportunities like this one, and maybe some of the field experiences that you've participated in too. And I just wanted to share with you today that I think the work that you all are gathered here to celebrate today is of the utmost importance. We know that there are so many environmental issues that we deal with, and you've explored some of those already, whether it was poor water quality, climate change, overdevelopment, plastic pollution, and single-use culture. There are so many issues that we have to deal with as a community. But what I think is really special about what you all are up to is that you're not just talking about those issues and saying, well, I hope somebody does something about that. Instead, you are doing something about it, each and every one of you. And you're here today to celebrate and lift up those actions that you've taken or that you plan to take in the future to make your community more sustainable and more livable for everyone. That is incredibly admirable. Thank you so much for all your hard work on this. I know some of you have created rain barrels, you've done outreach or education to stakeholders about school bus exhaust. Some of you have even gone out into your communities, into your parks, into your schools to clean up litter and do other on-the-ground action. And these are fantastic actions, and I hope they pave a pathway for you to understand how much influence that you really have over your own community. You as an individual, as a class, and as a community gathered here today in this room to make positive change. Now, as we kind of move forward, I want you to take a moment here, just close your eyes. Think about that action project that you worked on. How do you feel when you think about the impact that that project will have on your community? Now shift your mind to the future. What's next for you? What environmental issues do you care the most about and why? What are your talents and what are your hobbies that you could bring into your future work? I hope you'll think about these things throughout the rest of today. And I want to end my few minutes with you with a story of hope. I am super privileged. I get to work with awesome elementary, middle, and high school students just like you, where I live here on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. And a few years back, I was working with this group of young men who wanted to do something positive in their community around the environment, but they weren't really sure where to start. So I joined them at their community center. We did a little bit of brainstorming, and it was kind of tough to come up with an idea of, what they could do. And we eventually kind of pressed pause and said, all right, we need to take a breather and figure this out. We went outside and we were shooting some hoops on the basketball court, and one fella, he hit about 4, maybe 5 free throws in a row, swish, 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 and then he actually airballed it. And the worst part of that wasn't the embarrassment of the airball, it was the fact that the ball landed in this huge puddle of water. And it became clear to me that this happens all the time, not that he airballs it, but rather that the ball lands in the water. And we realized that this is a symptom of actually a larger issue at the park that is recurring flooding. And so we talked a little bit about it and said, there are solutions that we could come up with to actually mitigate this issue, like putting in a rain garden, for example. And that's just what this group of young men did. And I'm telling you this story here for 3 reasons. One, there are environmental issues everywhere. We just have to have our eyes open to them. They're big, they're small, they present themselves in different ways. So keep your eyes open into the future. Look for those issues, but also look for those solutions. The second reason I'm telling you this is teamwork really makes the dream work. I know it's a silly mantra, but whether you're collaborating with a class, a group of friends, a sports team, what have you, action is always more powerful when you have a team. You can tap into those talents of the people that are on your team. And in the case of the story that I shared with you, there was one student who was really passionate about video, and he ended up creating this beautiful montage of the project. There was another student who was really interested in public speaking, and so he brought this to their town council, and they got really great recognition from their community leaders. And the third thing that I want you to remember here is that you have the power to make real change, and that your local community is a really great place to start. So thank you all so much for your hard work to build a brighter, more sustainable and resilient world. I am truly honored to work alongside you all now and into the future. Thank you so much.
In today's expo, we are recognizing over 20 different student projects as resilient River Star schools. These student groups implemented projects addressing one or more of the following questions. How can our school or community capture and reuse rainwater? How can our school or community address flooding and runoff pollution? What can we do to reduce our carbon footprint? And how can we encourage resilient action?
We are so proud of all of you for carrying out your projects this year with a message of inspiration and hope. Let's have a round of applause for your hard work and dedication. Every new participating school will receive a banner, and every returning school will receive a star to clip onto your banner. Each student will also receive a Resilient River Star pin. Now, let's take a look at our terrific student projects.
Hi, my name is Charlotte.
Hi, my name is Connor.
Hi, my name is James.
My name is Jane.
My name is Levi.
My name is Lindsay.
My name is Nick.
Hi, my name is Oliver.
My name is Owen. My name is Ryan.
And we are the Hague School!
With the support of the Elizabeth River Project this spring, we're going to take our environmental projects to the next level.
We decided to form a club dedicated to these upcoming projects.
We started a garden last year that we will completely revamp to include more native pollinators and edibles by our school.
We have recently installed rain barrels to collect rainwater for reuse in our garden. Soon, we will even start keeping our very own bees. We hope these additions will make our garden thrive this summer.
To be able to compare rainwater quality to that of the Hague to find potential relationships.
Before summer break last year, we were able to help the city of Norfolk plant native grasses and bare soil next to the Hague.
This year at the Hague School, we continue to monitor the quality of the water in the Hague. We measured things like nitrates, phosphates, turbidity, pH, and dissolved oxygen. Our results did not differ much from last year. All results were fair or good, but we did still test positive for coliform bacteria. This is bacteria that is present in all warm-blooded animal feces.
We also continue to clean up litter whenever possible to try to keep the pig clean. We tend to find a lot more litter when storm surges cause big floods.
At first, the grasses didn't seem to thrive in the soil, but so far this spring, they look more lively as they help to reduce soil erosion during floods.
This project matters to me because I want local plants to thrive.
This project matters to me because I love the environment and I love science.
This project matters to me because we're making a clean environment for the next generation.
This project matters to me because we can help encourage others to help their environment.
This project matters to me because we're helping wildlife have cleaner and much safer homes.
This project matters to me because I enjoy gardening.
This project matters to me because I want a better school environment.
This project matters to me because I want to keep my environment clean and looking better.
This project matters to me because I want to find ways to fix the problems rather than the symptoms.
The number one issue affecting our waterways today is pollution. By helping the Hague, we can make our community and the world a better place.
Thanks for another great year!
The West Ghent Middle and High School team adopted a small wetland area in a kayak lunch at Plum Point Park, which is the second year in a row. We have cleanups every other month, even on cold and windy days. In total, we had 4 cleanups this year and collected approximately 200 pounds of litter. The most common things we found were plastic wrappers, cigarettes, and bottle caps. The most unusual thing we found was a boot. We are glad that we could prevent this litter from entering the Elizabeth River.
Welcome to our ERP cleanup presentation. We are the Nauticus Youth Action Council. We are made up of 8 members as of the current moment. We were a 7-member crew as of the cleanup. There was a 12-member crew for the actual cleanup with 4 adults and 8 youth. Our mission statement is, as a part of Nauticus, the Youth Action Council will actively work to better our community through environmental stewardship and education. We are located at Nauticus in downtown Norfolk. We separated our 12-member crew consisting of 4 adults and 8 youths into 4 separate groups. We then went around Nauticus campus in Town Point Park and cleaned up whatever rubbish we found. This is a graph of different items that we collected throughout the day. As you can see, there are lots of cigarette butts and food containers that we found, mainly food containers. This is a video of us cleaning out our floating seed bins. They are a great contraption that can remove different marine debris from the water. Why was this cleanup day so important? 1, it decreases the amount of plastics in the Elizabeth River. 2, it cleans up the Chesapeake Bay. 3, it protects wildlife. And 4, it raises public awareness through us telling random public that happen to walk by about our work. Our future plans are to do different projects like recycled art programs, program development, oyster and seagrass gardening, and water quality testing, along with different trash collection days like the one we did in this presentation. We came together to collect marine debris from Nauticus campus in Town Point Park. Over 2,000 pieces were collected and removed from our watershed, the Elizabeth River watershed. This is only the beginning of our cleanup efforts. We're planning on conducting regular cleanups, and this is a reminder that change is possible through collaboration and dedication. Just look at what we've been able to do in this short period of time. Imagine what we could do if we repeat this process over and over again for years to come, creating strides into creating a new and better world. We'd like to thank Keep Norfolk Beautiful for giving us much of the supplies we ended up using on our cleanup day. We'd also like to thank the Youth Ocean Conservation Summit for grant funding. We'd also like to thank you for listening to our presentation. Thank you.
Students at Christopher Academy love learning about the Elizabeth River outside at their learning dock and outdoor classroom. This year, they added their new outdoor classroom and a small pond. They've maintained the area with regular litter cleanups, and they also grew and planted native plants in and around their pond. Students also grow and measure oysters off of their learning dock. Christopher Academy students are excited to share about all the ways they are resilient river stars.
Trash is bad!
As we know, we love our aquatic animals, but due to all the trash in the ocean, they choke on it and die.
It takes the average candy wrapper 10 to 20 years to decompose. That's a long time.
There are about 5.6 trillion cigarette butts in the ocean. That's 1% of the ocean's entire mass.
We are working with Treakle sites to get little plastic bags like these.
In the past 3 class periods, we've collected over 50 pounds of trash. As Blair Middle School's Environmental Science Club, we made these signs to encourage our fellow students to touch the environment with us.
Yay! This is Blair Middle School's 4th year participating in the Youth Resilience Expo. This year, students are participating in the TREX plastic recycling program and will measure the total pounds of plastic diverted from landfills throughout the school year. They also participated in several schoolyard litter cleanups, collected data on the types of trash, as well as researched contaminants in those items and impacts that they have on the local watershed. The students have also investigated how to have more trash cans placed outside of their school to help prevent littering on the school grounds. Miss Bronson's 6th graders at Cradock Elementary School wanted to do something to help reduce flooding and standing water on their playground. They have been working with Elizabeth River Project staff to investigate their schoolyard and have determined a good area to add a small rain garden. Over several visits, students examined the soil, researched appropriate plants, and cleaned up litter. In May, they will plant 30 native rain garden plants that will help absorb the rainwater and also benefit the pollinators. Mrs. B's 6th graders have been busy bees.
Students learned how their actions impact the Elizabeth River watershed. Our schoolyard has experienced erosion due to long flooding events. We focused on how to capture and reuse rainwater in order to water our flower beds for pollinators. We installed rain barrels and measured the plant growth from city water versus rainwater.
This spring, Churchland High School students have been revamping the garden next to their classroom that was almost completely full of invasive plants. Miss Carrington's horticulture students have been clearing out non-native plants and weeds, and soon will begin planting native pollinator species local to the area. Miss Carrington reports that some students have surprised her in their willingness to get dirty and help maintain the garden. We also want to recognize that Miss Carrington's fall semester students earned their Chesapeake Bay Landscaping Professional Certification, which will help prepare them for a workforce in green infrastructure, critically important here in Hampton Roads. And they are now gearing up to help another set of students achieve this certification this spring.
It's so amazing how we can have this whole place to ourselves, whole land, you know, but a lot of people have been littering everywhere, and littering means they don't care about the effect of them doing all this.
So what kind of effect would the littering have on our watershed?
The water would be polluted, and we wouldn't have clear water anymore if we run out of water bottles. So we help the trash cans. We help the watershed by feeding the trash can trash, because if we just leave trash on the ground, the watershed will take the trash when it rains, and the rain will wash it into the rivers, and then the rivers will put it in the Chesapeake Bay, and when that happens, trash will pollute the water, and so it will kill animals. So we got to make sure that does not happen. So you want to make sure we put the trash in the trash cans for we don't kill anything.
The Victory Elementary School 6th graders planted 100 native pollinators and herbs in front of their school to increase the native pollinator species and to help absorb rainwater and runoff. They also got a new rain barrel installed and use it to water their garden. They love to spend time out there during recess checking on their plants and picking up any litter. Ingleside Elementary students from Mrs. McGrath's Before School program recently planted a rain garden at the recreation center adjacent to their school. 24 new native plants were added to the site to help improve biodiversity and absorb rainwater and runoff. Students got up close with earthworms and learned how their new native plants will support pollinators. Mrs. McGrath reported that there was much enthusiasm, saying that some of our students have asked about future garden projects at our school and ways that they can grow plants at home.
Students collect personal trash in a biodegradable bag at their desks and measure the amount each day and over a week. Students will determine was their personal trash decreased and will brainstorm different ways to manage their personal trash. Students will focus on what they can do if paper trash and recycling is not available. Each classroom will construct, fill with shredded paper, and hang a birdhouse in an area of our playground where birds have been observed. Students work on posters to display around the school with tips for reducing personal waste and increasing sustainability. converting a flooded area near the playground to a rain garden to attract native pollinators. Students will plant taller, larger plants in the center, plant shorter plants in the front of larger plants and around the perimeter, and ensure plants and shrubs are spaced according to their mature size. Students will also help to backfill the garden with mulch after planting for the aesthetics and water absorption. Students measured the standing water after rain events on our schoolyard. We completed an experiment on which soil type absorbs the most water to reduce flooding. Our hypothesis is that if we layer the gravel and oyster shells on top of the soil, the added material will soak more water than the soil alone. Students used gravel, soil, oyster shells, and paper towels in their experiment to figure out which materials absorb the most water and reduce flooding. We will continue to plant native plants on our schoolyard to reduce the standing water and flooding.
My name is Evelyn Page, and I'm a junior in the IB program at Granby High School. Last year, I tested the water from the Elizabeth River to show how pollution affects local sea life. This year, I've decided to focus on another type of water pollution, eutrophication. This is when nutrients in the soil are deposited into rivers by runoff streams. Too many nutrients in the water, especially nitrogen and phosphorus, can cause algae blooms which consume oxygen and produce harmful toxins. This can kill river ecosystems. To determine the amount of nutrients being deposited, I tested the soil near flooding and runoff zones. I chose places that didn't have any plant life growing in them because plant roots help absorb these nutrients and prevent erosion. The Elizabeth River Project provided me with a testing kit, which I used to measure soil pH, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium levels. I tested samples from 5 different locations. Fortunately, nitrogen levels were low. However, phosphorus was very high in one of the samples, and potassium was high in the flooded samples. The high phosphorus level is likely a result of the lack of plant life, and the high potassium level is probably what caused the lack of plant life. Too much potassium prevents plants from absorbing other essential nutrients. So, what can be done to prevent these nutrients from entering the waterways? To help the Elizabeth River, citizens can cultivate biodiversity in their yards. Typical grass lawns require constant maintenance, such as watering and mowing. This wastes water and produces carbon dioxide. Laying sod can be even more harmful, especially near flooded areas. As an alternative, we can plant native species that will prevent erosion and balance nutrient levels in the soil. Biodiverse yards will also provide habitats for local birds and insects, increasing pollination and strengthening the ecosystem. Don't know what to plant and where? There are several guides that match soil type to specific plants. In addition, citizens can create rain gardens, use rain barrels, pick up pet waste, and stop using pesticides and herbicides. In this way, we can ensure that our community is a safe, healthy environment.
Our 4th grade is taking part in the Save the Earth project. Each student will receive a reusable water bottle, and we will send out a survey collection to gather data from each classroom, counting the number of students currently using reusable water bottles before and after.
More than 17 million pounds of garbage are in the ocean. But what can we do to help? Turn off lights, reuse cardboard, and other things that you can reuse. Recycle, stop wasting water. We can save animals' lives.
Alright, Ariana, why do you think the flooding by the ball field and playground could be bad for our school?
Because if it rains mostly every week, the flood can get bigger and larger, which means that people can get injured and slip. So that means that it can block us from the ball field too.
And we don't want that, do we? Okay, Justin, what are some ways that we can help with the flooding by the playground?
We can plant flowers to soak up water and put down dirt to level the ground.
Sounds like a plan.
Hickory High School's Environmental Club planted 25 trees for Hickory's 25th anniversary on Friday, March 11th, with the help of several other student club members. The tree project was funded by a grant through the Virginia Department of Forestry's Urban and Community Forestry Program. The club planted 7 different native species around the front of their campus to improve air quality, water quality, and to reduce the amount of heat generated from the dense concentration of pavement and buildings. In addition, they will plant 85 black-eyed Susan and Joe Pyeweed plants around their stormwater ponds to add native pollinator plants back to their schoolyard. The Maury High School Garden Club got a new 250-gallon water tank, which provides water for their chickens and also a copious amount of water for their gardens. Just 1 inch of rain on the living roof above their chicken coop collects 67 gallons of water. The club also repurposed cardboard boxes from 66 new smartboards, which weighed 16 pounds and measured 46 by 8 by 74 inches apiece. Had they been placed in the trash, they would have taken up 1,041 cubic feet, a little larger than a school bus. They will instead be used as a weed barrier for their 3,500 square foot garden. The club also installed solar-powered lights around their garden to help with security. This also helps reduce their carbon footprint.
Through this project, we've not only learned sustainable gardening practices, but we've learned to become more resourceful and use the world around us to our advantage.
Congratulations to all of our participants. Students, teachers, and families, you have a lot to be proud of this year. This year, you have risen up as resilient River Star students and worked hard to help clean up and restore our Elizabeth River watershed and combat flooding and sea level rise.
Our Above and Beyond winners are Cedar Road Elementary School, Blair Middle School, and Evelyn Page Granby High School. Before we wrap things up, we have a few prizes to give away. First, we have 1 vehicle pass to the beautiful Norfolk Botanical Gardens for up to 6 people. Check the chat. Next, we have 6 tickets to the Nauticus Marine Museum. Check the chat box. Third, we have 4 one-hour kayak rental excursions from the Norfolk Kayak Rentals. The winner's in the chat. Finally, we have a $25 gift card to the sustainable goods store, Go Less Than. Check the chat box. We will begin delivering your awards and door prizes over the coming weeks. Please check out our website for more photos and videos featuring all student projects.
Thank you for being resilient leaders in our communities. See you next year.